Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special stream today because we are diving into the new and improved and soon to be releasing on Xbox consoles, Series X and S of Towerborne, which is coming on April 29th. And we're very lucky because we're joined by game director Dan Mclaren and lead combat designer and two job roles for this chap, lead designer of Live, Isaac Torres as well. So we've got the whole gang here, and we're going to be playing through some Towerborne, talking about the new improvements. Welcome, chaps. It's lovely to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
hey,
thanks.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Now we've done an interview series before, me and you. Dan. We're old hands at this. Isaac, welcome to the crew. We're going to be going through Towerborne, but it's been through a bit of a journey, right? So when I last played a hefty amount of this game, I'm talking, I think I put in something like 30 hours into early access before I kind of put my thoughts together. I came away with a game that I really, really liked. And this was an early access journey for Stoic. You guys are going through working with the community in terms of making those changes and improvements and building. And now we've finally arrived at the moment that a lot of console fans have really been waiting for, which is the release of the game on Xbox and with couch co-op and crossplay. So it's a hell of a moment for you guys. Are you pleased to be here at this long last?
Oh, are you kidding? It's been a journey. It's been pretty crazy. Going into early access was that moment where you knew, okay, now people are going to play this game and there's going to be critical feedback on it. You're never really ready in the sense of making a game already is that thing of how much do you cut off, how much do you polish, how much do you decide to release, what things do you put in order and then release on time. Now pull that back to early access where you're even more unpolished in a lot of ways. You have to make certain calls. So going out the door and then looking at everything and seeing how people played it and fed back on it to get to this point was its own journey, but it's been worth it. A lot of hard work. That's why we gave Isaac 2 titles. There's so much work. We're like, Isaac, you should have 2 titles so you could do twice the work.
And you know, Isaac, it's interesting from a combat design perspective. Like, this is a unique game. I personally feel like I can't recall. There's plenty of side-scrolling brawlers, right? You know, Streets of Rage 4. Our colleague Nick is an absolute big fan of this. He's been really looking forward to having a go at Towerborne and in the Insider program and everything, because he loves side-scrolling brawlers. But you've brought back a kind of old-school type of gameplay, but infused it with progression mechanics and gear and loot chasing. I mean, where do you even start in terms of like that kind of journey to merge these genres?
Yeah. I mean, it's super interesting, right? It's like, you know, you want to pay respect to the classics in a lot of ways, and when we do that, and there's also just kind of like a modernization that's also kind of happened there too, where not only do you take what's really cool about classic beat 'em ups, but you kind of like up the ante there, and then you add in all of the cool ARPG aspects and all the gear progression. And in this version of the game too, it's especially crazy to just showcase what some of the new stuff that we're going to have in the game is too. Like the progression for combat has evolved since you guys have last played it, and it's kind of insane. Like if there's things that you liked about it before, imagine that, but times 3. It's really cool.
I have to agree with you. So I was very lucky to go hands-on with this, and I talked a little bit about it on the XboxEra podcast once I'd returned from San Francisco and GDC. But you know, Dan can attest to it. I came back for like thirds on Towerborne.
Yeah, we had to kick you out. We were like,
yeah.
please.
I mean,
we need it for other people.
Yeah, it is really, really fun to play, and I think that there is the wonderful thing that I really like about it, and I'm curious on your thoughts here, and I want to dive into some gameplay in a second and talk about the some of the changes. So there's a fine art between what I would say is button bashing, right? Which is, you know, and I'm going to put castle crashes and things like that into this bucket, right? There's not a huge skill gap. And in Towerborne, I feel like if you're in danger levels 1 to 3, and for the uneducated that are watching or listening, that is kind of like, you know, you can have fun and you chill with your buddies and you're just kind of plowing through and having conversations and having fun. But if you bump this up to like 4, 5, or 6, suddenly the combat kind of becomes a completely different beast, where you've got to really, everybody leans forward. How do you balance those two worlds? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of core, just even dialing it all the way back. The simple to play but hard to master aspect of the game was absolutely core. We wanted there to be a low skill ceiling, or a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling. And you can see that reflected through the danger levels, and all of the enemies basically are our other lead designer on the project, Chris. He and I work together to kind of formulate a plan of action. It's like, after a certain amount of time that you've played the game, we expect you to kind of learn certain types of things. And we actually do have a moment in time. It's around danger level 3 to 4 where we kind of talked about this. Like, this is when you lean in a little bit. This is where you really have to start focusing. And the types of things that enemies do vary as well. So you'll see enemies get a little bit smarter and smarter and smarter, which kind of amplifies that whole feeling of I have to actually pay attention a little bit. But even from the very, very basics, like if you just first had a controller in your hand and you started playing this game, you're hitting buttons, it feels really good. And the idea here is that you start to get into a groove and you start to find out what your favorite combos are, your favorite moves, your favorite focus skills. And then by the time you do graduate to danger level 3, danger level 4 and beyond, you kind of have this combat prowess that you naturally evolved to. And yeah, it's just a constant mix of, how much do we want the player to know right away versus how much do we want the player to learn just naturally through progressing. And yeah, it's a constant balancing act. And part of it is always we want the player to feel really good.
yeah,
I think they're always like, it's too easy, so they always get me coming in going like, be harder. It needs to be harder. Come on, be harder.
I mean, I've played with Trish, the Stoic CEO, and I think she was sorely disappointed in my skills. I felt almost embarrassed and a little bit ashamed.
She did send us a message beforehand. She was like, make sure you let him know that I didn't show up so I wouldn't embarrass him. I was like, oh, that's fair. I'll let him know.
Honestly, yeah. She's good at the game. One of the big changes is building out your character. So prior to this new version, you had your Shadow Striker, your Rock Breaker, your Pyroclast. They all had their own skill sets, move sets. But the special moves that you could kind of utilize were kind of gear dependent and linked to different gear types. And you guys have kind of flipped that on its head now, and we can effectively choose the moves that we like and kind of gel with the best, which I love, by the way, because I always was like, I really like these daggers and the powers they have, but they don't have the move set that I love. Right. So separating those out, I mean, absolutely great improvement. I really, really like it.
That was one of our kind of long-term goals. When we first went into early access, we had actually gone through several different item progression models, and we'd started with one that was more crafting centric, and then we moved to kind of trying to improve the drops, and because it turned out that the game just was structured around all these materials, and they didn't really make sense. They didn't feel good to get when you were progressing through the game, and in the 11th hour we decided to completely rework progression. But what that meant was we couldn't rework it 100% of the way. So we just focused on how do we get items to feel good dropping in the world? How do we make them have variety and variance? And so we just implemented a very rudimentary kind of ARPG drop stat system that you see in the current build that's out in early access. But we knew that wasn't enough. We didn't want, the thing that I kept kind of pressing to the team was, these are subjective things. They are going to be personal. How do you tell a player, using a dagger toss is more valuable than using a go invisible and teleport behind somebody and stab them? How do you say that one of those is better than the other? And so, if a player's stuck in this position of, I can't play this thing, I can't do this thing, or I can't find these daggers to do the thing that I want to do, we're telling the player like, well, you can't do it until we somehow give it to you. And so we wanted to get into a system of pick and choose the things that you like, customize the build the way that you want to customize it, and not have it be hidden behind random mechanics. So that was kind of the next step that we wanted to do. We saw more. We even want to go further in this sort of a thing, but this represents our first moment that we could bring to life the itemization and the progression system that we've been talking about for over a year now.
It's a real solid change, and it makes the gameplay so much better. And speaking of gameplay, let's dive into the world map, because there's a fair bit to talk about here in terms of changes as well, and then we can go off and investigate and see if we can find a particularly challenging boss to take on, and then watch me fail miserably. But hey, let's see what happens. Maybe I can improve better. So the world map before is kind of similar to. It might bring some reminders of a board game like Catan, where you've got these hexagonal squares, but you've done a remarkable kind of broadening of it, I think, in terms of now when I zoom out, it's a little bit easier to see everything, and you can kind of explore square by square. You can take on special bosses. Was that a result of feedback from the early access, or was that
100%.
other big pieces here?
Again, this is all like the evolution of trying to fill this content out. I think the main goal here was get a world map out there, put a bunch of content out, see what people are doing. We've reworked a lot of things here. We've made the map a little bit more dense, so there are more things to do. It used to be, if you go and play the earlier version, you play a lot of different tiles and they're very randomized and there's not a lot of things going on, and you're just kind of moving to these smaller kind of clusters of things to do, and we've added a lot to the map. And so this is a direct result of the feedback that we've received from people. We've tried to make it feel more interesting, that there are actually more things to do. In your case, you're playing a bit more of an explored map.
Yeah.
And so, there's actually 2 more danger levels that are kind of hidden by the clouds there that you're gonna, have access into getting into. And so, there's quite a bit to do there, and then it's set up in a way that we can continue to expand that more.
Yeah, I mean, is that one of the design decisions behind the tile system? Was that we want to expand the map. Here's some new tiles, and we can just
100%. Yeah.
It's really clever.
The idea here is that, especially, and I'm stomping a bit on Isaac's space here, and he can totally talk about what we want to do from the live perspective. But that's the idea of the tiles, is like things can be changed, or swapped out or added or expanded, and it's not a big pain in the butt for us to do.
Sure.
Yeah, you can actually see some of what Mclaren is talking about here. You'll see that there's certain tiles that have like a very unique icon on there. One of them is the Golden Hunt. There's the Golden Clash. Those are actually things that we are doing for a live activity when the game releases, and you can do some special content for a limited time. So yeah, you see some of that already in practice once the game is out in game preview.
Awesome. Now I'm gonna defer to you, gentlemen, because this is your baby. Which boss of the ones that are available to us right now should we go and take on? Because we've got to take on a boss, right, for some of the combat here.
I'll leave that one to you, Isaac. You pick something that'll make John cry, preferably.
Let's see. In the current version of the game, what have you played?
I've played of this version. I've played against all of these bosses. So
okay.
I was hoping Yixil would be around, because that was the one that really suddenly was like, oh no. But I mean, Dimcap, we could take on this giant mole dude.
Yeah, we can totally do that. We can fight Yixil. If you go to the right side of the map, you'll see Yixil's domain.
Wow, he has moved. Okay, let's go fight Yixil.
Everything has been shifted.
Everything has been shifted.
The order you fight bosses is different. Where they're located is different. It really is a whole.
Yeah, I was not recognizing anything. I was like,
if you've played the previous version of the game, it's gonna feel like a whole new game.
We got him locked out. It's in danger level 4. We locked him in danger level 3.
Oh,
yeah,
womp. Okay. All right, that's fine. We can let's do the Truffle Club fight. Yeah, Dimcap, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Let's fight the Dimcap. It's always it's a good one. It's a good one. And I'm just curious as well. As you guys have gone through this journey, I think when you first started it, you were like, hey, everybody, there's going to be some moments here where we're going to have to wipe progress. But I think I read in the recent update that is happening, but you're aiming to only do it once. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We had talked about having multiple progress wipes so that we could introduce a bunch of different things and have people kind of experiment through it. The reception to that wasn't very well received. Which, look, I don't blame people at all. I don't have a problem with that. I think that what's important is that we listen to how the players are feeling about it, how they respond to it. We had a lot of players basically say like, well, I don't want to play until you guys are done with that. And we didn't want that because the whole point was to get people to play so that we could see what they're doing and make changes. So we had a lot of discussions internally. And we decided we had to do at least one. Like, we had set things up from the jump where we knew we were going to need at least one wipe. And part of that was because of this update that players are receiving right now. We needed players to have a way to progress through the game, improve themselves, spend points, skill points, unlock builds, create those builds, find gear that works with those builds. And so, we reworked itemization through all of this. We reworked your leveling curve through all of this. We gave, a bunch of things for players to do. And so we had to do at least one wipe. And so in the discussions, that we had and we had with Xbox and we had with the players on Discord and internally to all the staff, we made the call like, okay, we'll just do one wipe when we go to Xbox so that everybody starts fresh. We get all the PC players starting on the same spot. With the Xbox players, we'll unleash all of this new advanced content, and then we won't ever wipe your account again.
And the beauty of this as well is that for PC players that maybe have a console at home as well, or maybe have a handheld, this is remarkably performant on a lot of the modern PC handhelds. I don't know, you guys planning Steam Deck verification? Is that in the roadmap at all?
Yeah, it already works on that, and so I think we're marked playable now. So
brilliant. Yeah. It's one of those games as well, and you guys, when you were demoing it at GDC, you had a couple of ROG allies kind of available for people to test it out on. And I actually think this is one of those games that actually really sings on handheld.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I play this game on my Legion Go all the time. It's super fun. Yeah, it runs remarkably well as well. It's like I don't drop any frames, even in really chaotic moments. And it's really good.
Yeah, I mean it's very performant, right? And the art style as well. Like, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but is it even brighter and kind of cleaner than it was in the original version? Like, it's hard for me to put a finger on what's changed, but there is some changes here.
I mean, we're always in pursuit of improving readability, visuals, continuing to make it more performant across multiple devices. So I think every update usually contains some version of of both performance and visibility improvements.
Yeah, that especially is like a really big thing that we've been trying to tackle. So you're going to see, like Mclaren said, tons and tons of improvements all across the board. I mean, as people are watching what we're doing here in combat, you're probably noticing a bunch of things that weren't possible to do before. And I'm good to start talking about some of that stuff if you guys want to.
Yeah, it's
all right, interview's over, boys.
It's an interesting one, right? Because I was so used to, like, I really love my Shadow Striker. Out of all of the character builds, it's the one that I find, like, I can't say no to a double jump, right? But there are some really subtle changes. Like, I've noticed now that launching a player, which was something I would frequently do, launching an enemy, is something that's kind of subtly changed in this particular build. Is there a is that a nerf? Is that a buff? Like, what's the thoughts behind that one?
Yeah, so not necessarily a nerf, but yeah, a lot of the combat that exists now in the game has been transformed into a more progression-based combat system. So launching used to be something that you could always do before. There were certain types of skills that you were able to just do right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And those are now tied to progression. And there's a few reasons why. Part of it is just, the amount of information that we were giving to the player right when they first started was just a lot. And we kind of wanted players to build and level up and kind of learn the basics first. So launching, actually, it doesn't take long to unlock the ability to launch enemies and stuff like that. It's a relatively cheap skill as well. So you can almost certainly just equip it right away. So there's some moments like that. There's not too many of them. Launching is one of the few exceptions there. The Sentinel class has another scenario that's like that too with Valor, where Valor actually unlocks at a later level, and it will unlock automatically once you reach that level. And Valor itself has been redesigned to be more of an activatable class skill weapon mechanic type thing. So before, what would happen is you fill up a bar and then you would automatically proc with Valor, and you didn't really have agency, you didn't have control over what you wanted to do, and now you do. You can activate it, you can even do it in the air now, which is a whole new thing that you'll see is just expanded all across the board. There's certain skills that you can do, like doing the big clap right here. That was never doable in the air before. So it may seem at first glance that there's a little bit of a nerf, but actually it's more about giving player a choice once you get to a certain level of proficiency.
I've noticed as well that there's different move sets, obviously, that you can build as part of your skill base, and as you get skill points, you can equip different things that kind of you can customize your playstyle. And it allows for a little bit more freedom. Like I've noticed myself doing moves that I really, really liked, but I was perhaps in the original build a little bit unsure of, and now I'm just like, I know how that works now because it's kind of been taught to me through progression.
Exactly, and that was the whole goal. Like even with the skill menu itself, we show a preview of what all the skills do. It has a description, and part of that was to tutorialize parts of the game that were kind of hidden information. There was a lot of stuff that is in the combat system that people just didn't know about. So this was a perfect opportunity to showcase just how much depth is in there and give players the opportunity to opt in. You can play a version of Shadow Striker that never does a launcher, and that is totally valid. You can play that way, and that was one of the biggest goals with the whole class system in general, was to make it so that if 3 of us or 4 of us were in this party and we all used Shadow Striker, we could all have our own different styles, different plays, even just different moves that we do entirely. That's not just your focus skills. You can do, the gauntlets I'm using. I can do a different air combo that other gauntlet players may not have, or a rock breaker. Sorry, I use dev terms.
And one of the things that when I was trying to assemble all of the builds for GDC so that everybody could kind of play and test this out, I actually went through and didn't pick any of the complex stuff. I just was like, okay, what is a build for each one of these that a player could just pick up, mash buttons, and have fun? When you start getting into the class mastery tree, there's a level of complexity where Isaac and his team really started introducing, like, what happens if we take the combo system and really start putting combo behavior in these sorts of class mastery selections or class skill selections, and so there were a couple of things where I was like, nobody's going to discover this just sitting and playing for 10 minutes, so I'm not going to connect this skill, and if it does happen, it'll be a total accident. They won't know how they got it. So I think what I really, really like about what Isaac and his team did here was to put that agency in the player's hands. Hey, I am a more skilled player. I want the challenge of executing complex moves, to do very interesting things. I want my gameplay to be more tactical. I would like to have more options, all the way to other individuals on the other side where they're like, hey, look, man, I like my 3 combos. I want to do those 3 combos. I'm happy with doing it. I would like a lower cognitive load. Please just let me blow stuff up, and then you can do that as well. So,
yeah, I mean, something I said from my time with the early access version. I think one of the reasons I have a bit of a soft spot for Towerborne is that many games nowadays really demand ultimate focus, but like we were able to have a conversation there and chill out and talk through, and still have fun and play games. And I find and it's just a personal thing for me, but many people nowadays are like, they get in the lobby and they're like laser focused, and there is no conversation. And it feels like, again, we've got a resurgence of the brawler genre. You're merging it with online and loot chasing and things of that nature, and it's a little bit more social than perhaps a really hardcore FPS.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interplay too. Like, if we wanted to, we can do setups where it's like, oh, let me launch this guy. You can try to do a thing. That also just happens naturally as you're playing as well. It's like you can get into this kind of flow state where we don't actually even have to really talk about what we're doing at all, and I'm able to kind of interact off of what you did, and it's a really fun type of gameplay experience.
Hey, John, don't look at the stats.
Oh, there's got to be a little bit of bragging going on, right? Let's see.
We were heavily carried.
Yeah.
Oh my, we were. Oh dear.
Yeah.
I mean, I did okay, but you.
Let's just let's just close that. Guys.
We're gonna need to clip a corner on your gamer card, boys.
I
did okay. Personal.
I mean, do I get? I was on the ball. I was asking questions.
That's all right. You're doing the Lord's work here.
Yeah.
No, I think that you raised a really good point, which is this is the purpose. Going back to the earlier part of the conversation that you brought up, which is danger level 1 through 3. Really is designed around players just being able to enjoy the game, and you want to go through the quests that we put in the game as we continue to expand this game and expand story. When we add live events and new missions, there was this mindset that we had where we were talking about, I didn't want players gated by difficulty from the story and from the events that we would do. And you walk this very fine line when you have a game that is living, and that is, how do you appeal to the different types of players, and how do you let players access content and rewards and cosmetics and all the other cool stuff, but still give the players who are deeply hardcore something to pursue and get into. And how do you split that content? How do you split your design team to put the effort towards which types of content? It can get very it can create a lot of dissent in the community. And so the idea was, we wanted everything from 1 to 3 to just be a lot of fun. Sit down with a friend, don't feel bad, there's no real pressure here. If you lose, you lose, but you're probably not going to. Like, just have a good time. And that we would make all of the event content and the story content accessible in that 1 to 3. When you hit danger level 4, the idea is that you really should start focusing on your gear at this point. Nothing's going to be gated. There are bosses, obviously. I mean, we want you to go all the way up to danger level 5. The final boss fight is in the danger level 5 area, and that does kind of culminate the story. But you're not missing anything by not getting there, and you still are going to have access to all of the quest stuff that we put out and the event stuff that we put out. You'll still be able to interact with it. But if you really want a challenge, if you really want to drive towards that hard play, if you really want to see how the combination of your gear plus these skills are going to work out, you're going to be pursuing 4 and 5, and it should really be pressing and challenging you.
Yeah, there is a decent level of challenge here, people. Just as a heads up, just in case you're sitting there thinking this is going to be a cakewalk, if you want it to be, you can make it as challenging as you'd like. Right. Now we're just playing like a little bit extra here. I just wanted to cover one last topic for you guys, as broad as you like, really, before we wrap things up for today. With the Xbox launch, we've got a whole 30+ million subscribers on Game Pass. You've got new Umbra, there's new enemies, there's new gear. Are you excited to see that, the opening of that many people to being able to kind of jump in?
100%. Yeah, I know Isaac is like, nah, whatever. No, we talk about it all the time. Yeah. We're all thrilled about it. I mean, look, this has been a labor of love in a lot of ways. You know, Isaac and I will often sit down and talk about stuff, and he'll show me things. He's like, but if we do this and we can have this. And the thing that I think is really encouraging and really exciting is that everybody on the team is champing at the bit to get this out to as many players as possible to see what players are going to do, because we're at a spot where there are a lot of things we want to do, and now we want to see what the players actually want from us, and that's going to help us make a decision on, you know, what do we pursue next, what do we fulfill next. Isaac, I don't know if you want to talk about how you've been making decisions for that quantity of people, but
yeah, I mean, you know, for me, one, obviously super excited to get more people looking at the game. Overall, this is probably, I mean, not just probably, this is definitely our best work. Like, everybody has worked super hard on this, and we just want to one-up ourselves every single time, right? It's like every update, even leading to this, we were kind of upping it just a little bit more. And that's kind of the mentality we have right now, is we're going to release this, and there's going to be a whole new group of people looking at it, and then we're going to try to one-up ourselves even after that. And
Yeah.
there's already things that's in the works, which is going to be really fun. But you know, when it comes to the types of feedback and the things that we ended up doing, you know, some of the stuff is stuff that we already wanted to do. You know, it was kind of interesting seeing some of the feedback on Discord. It kind of validated a lot of the things. Like, there's a certain subset of players that just seem to really get the game, and it's cool to see what their reactions are going to be once they actually play. It's going to be like, oh wow, they actually did that.
Yeah,
which is really fun and exciting, and I just can't wait for that. That's like the coolest part of game development, is being able to satisfy just like all of those different fantasies that people have when it comes to what can this class do, what can I do with this boss, what can I do with this new gear piece, whatever it is. It's just really fun.
And also, I believe this game really shines on the Xbox. I think there's just something quintessential about this type of a game, and just picking up a controller without any thought, you know, just going like, turn on your TV, turn on your Xbox, click through, and just sit back and play a game like this. I think the brawler, beat 'em up, that particular genre has always just really shown.
it's at home on console, isn't it?
It is absolutely at home on console. So to have started on PC is so great, because you just have access through the early access system, and you could just get this kind of raw feedback, and you can just kind of put stuff out quickly and break stuff and not worry about it. But man, the pursuit to deploying this on Xbox has been our shining light. And we're so excited to finally have that happen. It's like a dream come true in a lot of ways.
And arguably, this is now the next beginning of the journey for
100%.
Towerborne, right? So
100%.
Congratulations to everybody on the team. It is a wonderful milestone to reach. And I have been looking forward to this, because I know that my son, when he saw me playing this on PC, he was like, can I play? I was like, you know, never touching my PC, son, never. It's too expensive, and you're not going to do it. But he is really looking forward to playing this, and I know that he's got a group of friends that all have Game Pass, which is one of the things I love about Game Pass, is that, hey, we've all got the game because we've all got that service, so we can all play. So there's a whole group of people that are going to be discovering this for the first time on April 29th when it launches. So certainly going to be a moment for you guys. So congrats to the whole team at Stoic. And on that note, I mean, do you guys want to just finish this level and we'll wrap these things up? Because, you know,
Yeah, let's do it.
Play and people like it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, some of the footage, when people see this, they're going to see a bunch of new stuff that's being shown for the first time. With the Sentinel class, you can see me throwing my shield and bringing enemies to me. I can do that in the air and stuff like that. But one of the things that we actually haven't talked about at all is there's actually a flask system now in the game too. So now you can heal yourself. You have a limited number of heals that you can do. You can regenerate them by beating certain enemies or going into one of those shrines like we just did there. It really feels like a whole new experience. Like, you have to think about the game differently now, but you also have just more agency over everything you do, and that's kind of the core of this update. Is there's more cool stuff to do, and you have more choice in how you want to do it, which is kind of the best scenario that you want for a game like this.
Yeah, every time I play in live right now on the early access build, I try to heal myself, and
Yeah,
I realize
me
the
too.
healing system
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
there, and I'm like, this is the dumbest. Who didn't put healing in this build? Who that man?
It's amazing how quickly though those kinds of changes just become like second nature. Like, oh, of course that should be in the game.
Right.
You know, like.
And
Did
that was a
something
big.
out of
That was actually something that, you know, we had thought about, and it was something that had come up in kind of early development, but we opted not to do it for a variety of reasons. And then the community really fed back a lot. Like, man, I wish I had a way to heal myself, or oh man, this doesn't, you know, feel super great the way that the current Death Revive system works. And so the design team, Isaac's team, and others very much spearheaded this idea of like, look, we need to get a consumable system in the game. There needs to be, you know, the ability to heal yourself and make strategic decisions about that. Yeah,
And you can
it
find
really
obviously
makes sense.
refills of those health potions if you're lucky.
Yeah. If you're good, I think is the
Ah,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, John wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I'm
idea.
just saying, man. Listen.
Wow, you know, I thought it
Well,
was
he
just
talked
Jesse that
about
was into
having
it.
journalist mode at GDC, so I gotta go with it.
We do love journalist mode, right?
That's right. The other thing that Isaac talked about, and Isaac, I loved this thing, and I wanted to kind of bring it up. You talked a lot when you guys were all working on class skills and reworking things of, you know, making things more meaningful in the air. I think that has always been something where, you know, people talk about, you know, juggling enemies or getting up there. There were so many things that didn't work in the air, and you guys really focused on, hey, if you want to be more air focused, there are a whole set of skills, there are a whole set of things that you can select that will allow you to do things in the air. And I think that that's been an actual real noticeable gameplay change. Like, you can actually feel that on the controller.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge one, and it's going to be a constant improvement as well. So even after we launch on Xbox, there's going to be additional moves that have more airborne properties to them even after that. So there's already updates coming soon that will increase the combat ability just so much more. And yeah, the goal is to just constantly be improving the game, make the game feel better. Everything has been tweaked to some capacity on the combat side, just like the cancelability of moves, just the feeling of moves, being able to do more interesting juggles, all of that sort of stuff has just been kind of made, I wouldn't even say easier, but just more intuitive and more of what you would expect. And yeah, we're going to keep at it.
Yeah, it feels so good to be able to take on like entire hordes of enemies, like and knock them back, and it just feels a little bit more agile. And the Shadow Striker was already pretty agile. Are you enjoying your Pyroclaster? Yes.
I made her a. Mine is She-Hulk, if you couldn't tell from the look, and she likes burning things, so she's done pretty good at it.
100% approved.
Thank you.
Well, for all the players who are watching this, Pyroclast actually is the best class. So I don't know why anybody would use anything else, but it is the best, objectively speaking, the best class in the game. So
I can see that.
I had to threaten a lot of people when they attempted to nerf such a beautiful, glorious class. So don't worry.
Wow.
And what's cool is everybody in the company really does have a different favorite. I mean, Trisha, as you know, loves the gauntlets. That's her main jam. She just plays that pretty heavily. We have people who are wrongly, but purely dedicated to the Shadow Striker class. Like, I understand it.
What?
Best
I mean,
class.
there's a lot of bullying going on this episode. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Might be kind of the try-hardy class,
persecuted.
especially if they have a mohawk.
Oh, the boss is here. Okay, this should be fun. That's the variety of the bosses as well, and the train noise as he steamrolls through is hilarious.
Yeah, the audio team did a great job with that one. I love it.
It's pretty great, and that's another thing. We just continue to add new lieutenants in here, and we have a bunch of plans for a bunch of new content after this release. I think 2025 is going to be an incredibly exciting year for us. You know, and, the way that they've set the class skill system up, it's very easy to just add new elements to that system as well. Very easy to modify it. You know, we're trying to focus on, there's going to be some new gear also in the game that will enhance your class mastery selections or your class skill selections. I keep calling it class mastery. That's our internal kind of phrasing around it, but it really is, you know, class skills. But we've also added new Umbra to the game. So there's I think 5 new Umbra to get, with another on the way.
Yeah, you're seeing one of them right now too.
You are?
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
Yeah. It's a bowl of udon noodles, and so how do you go wrong with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of wrestling love in this game. You probably noticed. You'll have enemies dropping elbows on you if you're a gauntlets user or a rock breaker. You'll have some cool wrestling moves you can do there too, which is fun.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how to get the suplex. Going. That's eventually. We got to get that suplex someday. Just grab up on there. Yeah, I'm waiting for that moment.
Me too. One day. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also been improvements to the brake mechanic as well, which you see here. You know, we've tried to just get in there and touch every aspect of the game through this and improve combat as a whole.
Oh wow! Okay, so before I used to be able to just like do that move to kind of not get knocked back, but he ate me up there anyway.
Yeah, there's certain attacks that can bypass moves that have armor properties. He's one of the big boys, so he has the pleasure of being able to make your life a little tough.
You've also added a few skills in here, Isaac, that do air recovery now. Like almost every class has air recovery now.
Yeah. So you'll see I've been using my air dash a lot. That's one of the new skills. But also, if you get hit in the air, you can recover in the air. There's also the ability to do kind of like a wake-up attack. So if you do get knocked down, you can press the attack button and you'll do something that can counter enemies. Each class has a different version of what that attack can be, and it's up to you to just pick it and choose it as one of your skills. They're pretty powerful. You know, with the skill system, there's no sort of respecking either. We didn't really go over that, but basically you have a certain number of points you can have. You can turn them on and off whenever you want. So you can try things and you don't have to worry about, you know, allocating something and then never being able to try something else.
Yeah, my main thing is...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Remembering, always feeling in control is nice. Like, you know when you mess up and you get knocked around, all that, but having ways to get back always feels good.
Yeah.
It's
a hell of an update, guys. I have to say, like, I'm like looking forward to April 29th. I'll put it that way. So.
Don't look at the stats screen or anything, John.
No, I want to look.
What is that?
I did all right.
What do we do?
I did all right.
Oh my goodness!
I may have nerfed him a little bit. So.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Jesse just brought the pain. The gaming helium.
Wow.
I don't need journalism.
What did I say? Yeah. What did I say? I said War Club, Pyro class, best class. That's right.
Yeah, I tried harder this time. I had to prove you right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, all right. We'll call it there. I think that's definitely going to whet the appetite of a lot of Xbox fans that are looking forward to getting their hands on Towerborne. Really big thank you, Isaac, Rob, for joining us and talking us through some of the changes and some of the updates, and for playing some video games and having some fun, because it's always good to do that. Anything you guys want to shout out before we wrap things up of where people can check out for updates, the Twitter account, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it's all Towerborne. Please feel free to join our Discord as well. We actually do listen to the feedback there. We peruse that constantly. We're constantly making feedback, and honestly, like, it's a huge thanks to the team for putting in the effort and the love for this. That people don't treat this like a job. They treat this like they really love this game, and this is the thing that they want to do. And then obviously a huge humble thanks to the community for actually playing, caring, writing up posts, breaking things down, the screenshots, the videos, the analysis, the whole 9 yards. Like, it doesn't matter.
I watch them all.
It doesn't matter. Without them, it doesn't. We're just making stuff for nobody. So it's really humbling.
I can't think of a better note.
That's what we do half the time. It feels like.
It's all in service of a greater good. It's brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. And folks, Towerborne is arriving on Xbox Game Pass for PC, and obviously it's all cross-play with the existing Steam build, and it's being updated on April 29th. You can check it out then. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.